I'd like to introduce to you the gentleman who will be running the next session. Mr. Dirk Kruse. Dirk is the Chief Executive Officer for SAP Fioneer, and he runs the business across the entire region. Ex-SAP, super experienced, and we'll be talking to some of SAP's leading lights in this field as well. So without further ado, we'll get off the stage, and I'll leave it to Mr. Kruse.
Welcome, Dirk.
Thank you, Usha. Thank you, Eric, for the very warm welcome. Good morning. Welcome to the very first SAP and SAP Fioneer Financial Services Forum here in Amsterdam. It's really impressive standing here in front of the crowd. And when I was preparing for the event, I was actually thinking, when did we host the last event? And it was back in 2018 when I was hosting the Financial Services Forum in Germany. So it really feels good to be here on stage and to see the community actually coming together. A very warm welcome to all of you in this venue, but as Usha and Eric also said, a very warm welcome for all our participants in front of their screens, in the home office, in the office, a very warm welcome. The future of, or a new perspective on the future of financial services is actually just the topic of today. And before I'm going into that, I would like to spend a couple of words and say thank you. Thank you to all our partners and sponsors. Without you, and this is not just a saying, without you, this event would not have been possible. So thanks a lot. Thank you to all our speakers, to all the speakers who hosted the workshops yesterday, and to all our speakers and especially customers who are running the show today and tomorrow. We are really privileged to have you here on stage, so a big thank you to all of you. And last but not least, and Eric mentioned that already, a big thank you also to Brad King, and if not a futurist, who could tell us better about the future of our industries and what is to come in the next years. And he will be on the main stage a little later today. A new perspective on the future of financial services. Before we're looking into the future, I would like to reflect for a moment on where we are today. And we are living in times of change, and we see that from everywhere and from many perspectives. So if we take ourselves 3 years back, who would have anticipated a global pandemic of tragic proportions sweeping around the world, changing everything? Changing everything, how we live, how we work, changing all the processes, changing how our kids are learning and going to school? The answer is probably no one. Or 2 years back, who would have thought that in 2022 we find ourselves in the middle of a very concerning war in the middle of Europe? Yeah. So the answer is again probably no one. And it's the war, it's the people in the Ukraine, but it's also affecting, from a macroeconomic point of view, the supply chains all over the world. So we see an energy crisis coming up. We see energy prices going up. We see inflation. And again, we didn't anticipate that, but we have to manage the challenge and the change. Or if you think of all the natural catastrophes, from wildfires in Australia and in the US, flooding in Asia and even parts of Europe, and then we see droughts in part of Africa. So we didn't anticipate that, but that's actually the world we live in. That's the new normal, and we have to manage change. The broken supply chains we see all over the place. That's just not, it's not a question of just an Amazon package being delivered too late. Yeah? It's about processes, it's about companies, it's about societies and economies, and we have to adapt to this change. There are also interdependencies. So I just mentioned the energy prices. So we see inflation not only in Europe and in North America, we see inflation all over the place. And we haven't seen that since the 70s, since the oil crisis. And we need to manage with that. So there are a lot of negative impacts, and we have to embrace those challenges. We have to embrace the change, and we need to manage our future. What keeps me positive is really a couple of positive examples. So who would have thought 3 years ago that a technology only within months can cope with a global pandemic? And I find it really fascinating what a technology like the mRNA actually did during the times of the pandemic. People, scientists, companies, only within a couple of months found solutions, and the technology saved many, many lives. So that is very impressive, and that should keep us motivated to embrace the change, to look forward, to use technology to make the world a better one. Or take, for instance, the topic of climate change, a topic which is around for quite a while, but I would guess the last 12 or 18 months, it has taken a lot of energy, and we see the topic of climate change, and we will talk about ESG a little bit later on, everywhere. And only the EU is spending more than 1 billion in initiatives and projects to fight climate change and to support the clean energy transition. And this also affects our industry, and we see a couple of mega trends in our industry, and I won't go into every single detail. But take, for instance, payments or digital wallets. Even in Germany, and you could not have imagined that before the crisis, but even in Germany these days, you can pay with Apple Pay or your credit card electronically in every single job. And we see that even a crisis can work as a catalyst for change, pushing technology, pushing digitization. The topic of platformication is a very important one. Also driven and pushed during the pandemic, we see that the large B2C platforms, the big retailers, they increased their business a lot, and that has also an impact on financial services. We see in many, many examples in customer journeys that products or services from the banking or the insurance industry are getting attached to customer journeys. You book your vacation and you can see that you have COVID insurance just attached to it. You're buying something and you have payment services or consumer finance service just being attached to it. And we see that a lot of traditional industry definitions are changing, and that's also a big change for us in financial services, and we have to adapt to it. Big data, artificial intelligence, big topics around for a couple of years, but we see that those topics are becoming more and more relevant. Topics like ESG, it's all around data. And the next generation computing is basically the hardware side in order to enable that. Regulation, embedded finance, all big topics, and you are the experts in this. But let me spend a couple of seconds on the topic of ESG. Just in time for this conference, the European Central Bank published the results of the 2022 stress test last week. And besides the fact that they're assessing some progress with a lot of banks participating, they also made very clear that the banking industry has to further invest into this topic. The topic of data is a very big one. A lot of banks are using still proxies performing the stress tests, and the European Central Bank was very precise that looking forward and the stress tests for next year, customer data, counterparty data has to be used. And they have been also very precise that the ESG reporting needs to be integrated into risk management processes, and especially integrated into credit risk processes. So those are the big topics we see in the industry. So you might argue, there is SAP and SAP Fioneer standing in front of this crowd and talking about change and transformation. And we hear a lot of people saying it's actually currently the perfect storm to transform the industry, the perfect storm to see digitization going across both industries. But we actually also asked ourselves, are we in the right setup for these challenges? Is SAP in the right setup? And looking back, we have seen a significant disbalance between the potential of the industry on the one hand side, but also the significant investment which would have been needed in order to extend our portfolio, in order to become a better partner for innovation and for transformation. And that was actually the reason why we founded SAP Fioneer. So that was an internal project, a board-initiated project at SAP, and over, I don't know how many meetings, board meetings, and 1,000 cups of coffee, we actually figured out that we would like to continue and even invest in the industry of banking and insurance in a new setup. And the new setup is SAP Fioneer, with a much stronger focus on innovation, on transformation, with a much stronger focus on solutions and products. And please, let's roll the video.
In the financial services industry, the need for transformation and innovation is higher than ever before. We understood what's at stake, and that's why we launched SAP Fioneer, the best of both worlds. SAP Fioneer brings the core banking and insurance expertise of our trusted SAP heritage to build the next generation of financial services software together with our clients. SAP partnered up with DEDIC to combine best-of-breed technology with new investment power, an entrepreneurial spirit, and an innovative approach. This makes us the agile and customer-centric task force of the SAP family, tailored to the financial services industry. We bring together embedded solutions and holistic services end-to-end, covering the complete customer experience for B2B, whilst delivering an outstanding and personalized experience for the end user. We are on a mission to establish an ecosystem and make co-innovation with our customers and partners the new standard. SAP Fioneer enables banking and insurance companies to become truly cloud-native, drive efficiencies and growth, meet regulatory requirements, and develop new business models. We speed up to serve our customers' entire value chain, striving far beyond. SAP Fioneer is the SAP you know and trust, but with a hyper-focus on financial services. SAP Fioneer, a strong and autonomous member of the SAP family, leading innovation in fintech and insurtech.
And since the launch of SAP Fioneer in September last year, we have actually achieved a lot. We managed to grow our business in 14 countries, from Sydney, Australia to Toronto, Canada. We just recently opened our new office in Dubai, and we set up the legal entity in South Africa in order to better support our clients in South Africa. We also set ourselves a very ambitious growth target. So we wanted to achieve 1,000 employees, starting from 600 in September last year. We wanted to achieve 1,000 employees by the end of this year, which is significant growth. And I can tell you that with July 1st, we already had 970 employees. So we will achieve our target just over summer. We're also very proud that we kicked off major initiatives in order to extend our portfolio and in order to grow into new areas. And that's actually what I would like to talk about today. I'm very proud to announce that with today, and as we speak, we are sending out press releases to the markets. We are launching our new platform strategy, which is embedded into SAP's strategy, which is built on the foundation of SAP's S/4HANA platform, but also built on the business technology platform and on the industry cloud. It's our mission to enable customers in banking and in insurance to focus on their digital value creation. And what that actually means, how the platform strategy will look like, that's what I would like to talk about today. We are launching 3 new platforms based in the SAP Industry Cloud, a new banking platform, a new insurance platform, and last but not least, our finance and ESG platform. And all those platforms are built on the following paradigms. We would like to focus much, much stronger on our customers, and verticalization is the key aspect. We want to be a much better partner when it comes to vertical specific solutions, could be commercial real estate, could be specific verticals on the insurance side, could be topics like ESG. So our focus is really to become more business relevant, and verticalization is the word, the term to explain that. Verticalization also means that we have to invest much, much more into integration, and I will talk about connectors later on. And verticalization is also about end-to-end processes, business content, and templates. And I will also touch that aspect later on. Incremental and agile is super important these days. Agile because the speed is increasing, the competition is increasing, and you need to have agile platforms in order not only to compete, but also lead the industry. And incremental is super important because we would like to take every customer with us on this journey, especially all our installed base customers. So an incremental approach is a key prerequisite for the platform strategy. Open Core is supporting new business models. Open Core goes along with full API management and enablement. Completeness, as I said, especially in those key verticals where we're focusing on, is important in order to deliver end-to-end processes, and I will share with you examples on this one. Together with SAP, we are building standard software, standard solution with highest quality, and it has to be pre-integrated and ready to run. So the way we are shipping this to the market, we call it editions. Those are pre-configured bundles of software. That's what I would like to share with you. So I have 3 examples, and I'm starting on the banking side. So with today, we are launching 4 editions to the market: a commercial lending edition, an asset finance edition, a retail banking edition, and to cope with all the bank management, accounting, and controlling aspects, a bank management edition. It's basically front-to-back coverage for all major propositions. So what does that mean? I've taken one example, which is the commercial lending edition. So the commercial lending edition is based on what we call the open core. So it's based on the existing modules we have today, and we obviously will continue to invest in those models, especially from an open banking point of view. So we're talking about transactional banking, we are talking about our collateral management, we're talking about our lending solution, and our complex loan solution. And you can see, and this is one new development we already started, that we're also investing into new topics, and the credit workplace is a new topic. So we have a very strong customer base today, especially when it comes to commercial lending and commercial real estate. And we have seen over so many years requirements coming from customers to more focus into end-to-end processes, and the credit workplace is definitely one new solution, which we started building a couple of months ago. We are talking about apps, and virtual account is just one app which is being used in commercial banking already all over the place. And when it comes to ready-to-run, pre-integrated solution, we have connectors and templates being very important. So we are also making use of the assets of our recent acquisitions on the Fioneer side. So we have, for instance, an FSDP load connector, and there will be more in the future. But there will be also, hopefully, more coming from our partner ecosystem. And templates goes along with business content. So commercial banking, we are investing into business content in order to make sure that our platform can be implemented faster and with a much better TCO. And templates also refers to UIs, so you will see that SAP Fioneer is investing in UIs. And together with the credit workplace, there's also an optional UI coming, which I'm coming back to in a second. So that is one example out of from the banking side. So the new finance and ESG platform is an integrated platform, which is integrated in the banking platform and in the insurance platform. And I've picked one example here, which I would like to introduce, and I think there was also a workshop already yesterday. So we recently announced that SAP Fioneer will start developing a sustainable finance data hub, so to establish one source of ESG truth is our ambition in the finance and ESG platform. So again, the same principles. We are talking about open core, the modules. We are talking about applications, connectors, and content. And what you will see that based on the FSDP solution and tightly integrated with the SAP solutions of the control tower, but also PRPM, we are developing a new app which is called Sustainable Finance Data Hub. If you slice the whole topic of ESG in basically 3 layers, there is a reporting layer, there is a data management layer, there is a data or data feed layer. And the proposition SAP Fioneer is offering to our clients is really to have this one central data management solution. And we are open on the one hand side and pre-integrated to all the SAP solutions, but we are also open to other reporting solutions, especially also to regulatory reporting solutions. So together with the Sustainable Finance Data Hub, we will also deliver content, and we will deliver a sustainable finance UI. And this is for the purpose that we have to capture a lot of information out of banking and later on insurance processes. So again, take the example of a loan origination. A lot of information cannot be bought from the market. So traditional data feed providers, they offer counterparty information, but the specific information which is tied to the credit, to the loan, that has to be captured within the process. It's part of our end-to-end credit solution, and we will make sure that this specific UI will capture the relevant ESG data and then store it again in this one single source of truth. And last but not least, an example from the insurance side. So on the part of the insurance platform, we will offer, again, editions. We are talking about an insurance finance edition, a P&C edition, a life edition. We're talking about integrated solutions for almost all lines of the insurance business. It's based, in this example, on our insurance solutions, the financial product subledger and the financial posting gateway. Looking forward, we are investing into apps like the statutory reporting, but we are also especially investing into connectors and templates to tailor that to the individual needs. So together with SAP, we enable every FSI business to become an intelligent and sustainable enterprise. And the SAP Fioneer platform strategy is integrated into SAP technology. As I said earlier, it's part of the industry cloud. And I think with SAP together, we have the market-leading proposition here globally for banking and the insurance industry. So before I sum it up, I would like to share with you a quote from a very famous business leader, Jeff Bezos. He once said, "In business, it's dangerous not to evolve." And we have set ourselves at SAP Fioneer very ambitious targets. We embrace the change. We have a new setup together with SAP in order to deliver globally market-leading banking and insurance platforms. And to discuss this even more in detail, I'm asking Falk Rieker and Toni Tomic to join me on stage. So once again, a very warm welcome to all of you in this audience. As I said earlier, let's embrace the change and let's jointly define a new perspective on the future of financial services. So Falk and Tony, please join me. Thanks a lot. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Dirk.
It's good to see you. I hope you're feeling better today.
Yeah, I hope that I feel better today as well. So thank you. I'm feeling better today, and good morning to the audience, to our customers and partners, and our employees. I cannot join in person today because I was tested positive on COVID, but it looks all good, and I'm very much looking forward to the conversation. And since we are used to the digital world, I think over the past 2.5 years, I hope we can compensate for that, for me not being there with you and Falk on stage.
Well, definitely, Tony, all the best wishes from Amsterdam to Düsseldorf.
Thank you. And you see, I have there in the background.
So, Tony and Falk, very warm welcome here on stage. Happy to be with you jointly in this keynote. So, I talked about a lot of changes happening globally, macroeconomically, but also within the industry. So maybe first question to you, Falk, what are the big business imperatives you see from an SAP point of view for the next couple of years in our industry?
Yeah, let me start first with saying hello to all of you, and it's great to see you again. And if you can have the slides, please.
Can we have the slides, please?
So, when I look here in the room, many of the customers have one thing in common. They run solutions from SAP and SAP Fioneer jointly, and that makes the success of this. And when we look at this picture, go back, please. Not too fast. When you look at this picture, and that's a simplified version from what Dirk showed earlier, SAP provides cross-industry solutions for finance, spend management, human capital management, customer relationship management, and other cross-industry topics. Fioneer provides the industry-specific solutions that complement these areas, for example, in finance, for example, in sustainability, for example, around customer sales and service, but also allow our customers to run their core business processes like loans, deposits, saving accounts, checking accounts, policies, and claims, just to name a few of them. And this is all running on the same platform, same business technology platform, so you can run end-to-end process for your retail banking business, for your commercial banking business, along the line what Dirk just announced around these platform editions. And that drives standardization, automation, and operational efficiency. So let me give you two examples to illustrate how this comes together. So first example is a bank in Canada, one of the large 5 banks there, CIBC. They decided for SAP and SAP Fioneer as their partner for their finance transformation program recently. So in that case, SAP provides a financial suite, like the general ledger accounting and the respective sub-ledgers like AP, AR, but also group reporting, analytics, and things like profitability and performance management. This is complemented by a very important piece, and that's the financial product sub-ledger from SAP Fioneer. And this is just one example in the area of the Office of the CFO, how our solutions complement each other to really come up with an end-to-end world-class solutions for the Office of the CFO. A second example, and we're very pleased that we have the CEO of that company, Anthony Watson, later on one of the sessions with us, is the Bank of London. Now, many of you might not have heard of the Bank of London. It's not the Bank of England, by the way. So it's the Bank of London. It's a fintech. It's one of the top 10 fintech in the UK. They are valued with more than £1 billion already before they have processed the first transaction. So true unicorn, astonishing business model. And when they approached us in 2018, they were looking for a software and technology partner to build the backbone, the technology backbone for their entire operations they wanted to build up. So they decided for SAP as the software and technology partner, while Fioneer now is the co-innovation partner for the core of their business. And this is obviously the payment gateway. And you can assume you will hear a lot of astonishing news from that project in the near future. And those are just two examples how the SAP and the SAP Fioneer solutions really come together and come to life. But Tony, I think there is an insurance example as well you wanted to share.
Thank you, Falk. I think there are many as well. So maybe just outlining 2 or 3 of them. So on one hand, I mean, a customer of ours, AXA spin-off actually for the US market, Equitable, went live in January with their finance transformation program. Looking forward now as well to evolve into LDTI, where the SAP ledger plays an important role, and where actually the developments that are taking place on the Fioneer side as well are looking into that. I think the second example would be AIG, a similar combination out of the financial suite and together with the Fioneer solutions, where actually co-innovation together with AIG is front and center. And I think SAP Fioneer just recently won, I think in last quarter, a very important customer in the Nordics that actually is focusing on the core insurance suite. So I believe that the combination of these two worlds really makes a big difference, combined with the co-innovation approaches and the investments into the industry-specific solution portfolio.
Tony, would you be so kind? I think there are 2 more important aspects we should cover. One is, I think, also the context of RISE, and maybe, Tony, that's a question for you. And then, Falk, also for you, give us a perspective on the industry cloud.
Yeah, I think, Dirk, you mentioned it before. We are globally in a new era, which the majority of us in the room have not experienced before. Rising inflation, high interest rates, volatile markets. And I think to support the business resilience of our customers on one hand, and the need for business model innovation and business process transformation and improvement, we have launched business transformation as a service. So we call it RISE with SAP. So what are 3 components of RISE? So on one hand, we support business process redesign, leveraging business process intelligence tool set around Signavio, supporting the move to more standardized processes, business models, target operating models, and obviously as well embedding the expertise of SAP Fioneer and our partners into that. The second component of it is really cloud migration with pre-packaged offerings from SAP. It is really about helping our customers to move from capital expenditure to operational expenditure, moving to the cloud, with really business benefits and IT benefits that can be realized through that. We saw customers really that where their business cases are really achieving 25% of really reducing running costs of platforms. And the third component is innovation. And innovation comes through basically 3 aspects. The industry cloud, where we onboard our partners, partner extensions to our solutions. We have a lot of partners here in the event that work on those solutions and best practices. Then business networks, which is hugely important for SAP because we believe that the future of industries is business networks, and I think we'll come later to that in our discussion. And obviously, SAP's Cloud for Sustainable Enterprises are really responding towards the biggest challenge I think that we see on one hand, and the biggest opportunity that we see in the economic, the biggest economic opportunity for our customers. I think since the launch of RISE with SAP, we have roughly about 100 customers in financial services, around 2,000 customers across all the different industries. And we have companies actually of all sizes running RISE with SAP. So could be companies, when we speak about insurance, of 2 billion of premiums, but as well, obviously our tier one customers that are moving entire SAP portfolios towards RISE. So it could be net new customers that have not started with SAP at all, but it could be as well customers that basically already are SAP customers. So that said, Falk, you want to outline a bit of around Industry Cloud?
Yeah. Before I come to the Industry Cloud, let me reiterate one thing. When we look at the business imperatives that drive our strategy, there are the three big blocks, and you will hear that over and over again from SAP as well as from SAP Fioneer. So one block is business transformation. In that context, we speak about RISE and we speak about Industry Cloud. Second block is business networks. We believe a lot of business will be done in business networks in the future. So it's important for financial service provider to be part of these business networks that evolve around topics like health, wealth, housing, mobility, but also typical B2B market and B2C marketplaces. And the third topic, sustainability. I think we all will agree here in the room that planet and profit have to come together. And that's true economics. Yeah? So these three building blocks drive the overall strategy. Now back to that first piece, business transformation, which obviously is absolutely essential for you to stay competitive. Business transformation. So the first building block is RISE. The second is the Industry Cloud. And when we talk about Industry Cloud, it's all about verticalization. Dirk brought it up earlier. To stay competitive in industry, you need to verticalize and drive the best possible industry processes. And competitive landscape is changing quickly. Yeah? So to do so, we have implemented and introduced the Industry Cloud concept. So what is the Industry Cloud? Think of it as an innovation space where partners can develop innovative cloud solutions based on business technology platform that integrate with the SAP Intelligence Suite and business network solutions. So in that Industry Cloud concept, SAP Fioneer will be our #1 partner. SAP Fioneer will be the backbone for our Industry Cloud in banking and insurance. All the SAP Fioneer solutions will be available in the SAP Industry Cloud. And that includes all the platform editions, including all the solutions you talked about earlier that complement finance and sustainability, as well as the core insurance and the core banking solutions. Now, beside that, because SAP and SAP Fioneer, we do a lot, but we can't do everything ourselves. We built a partner ecosystem. We already have ramped up some best-in-class software partners as part of our Industry Cloud concept, and we'll continue to do so. They complement our joint solution portfolio and give you the opportunity then really to run true end-to-end processes on a single technology platform. Just to name a few that are here, and I encourage everyone to take a look at the exhibition hall later on. For example, MSG with their profitability and performance management solution. MyWave AI, that they have a very interesting AI-driven customer service solution. Adamant Lane, a liquidity hub is their solution. Take a look at it, another interesting one. And obviously, I should not forget about our global service partners that develop a lot of industry accelerators and industry solutions that help implement and integrate our solution much more easily. So with that said, back to you, Dirk. Next question.
Yeah, thank you, Falk. So we touched the topics of business transformation and especially with a focus on RISE and Industry Cloud. I mentioned earlier in my presentation the topic of platformication, and that obviously goes along also with what we call business networks and ecosystems. So we see on the one hand side, in the B2C space, examples like I shared, the attached business when it comes to payments, standardized insurance products, but it has also B2B aspect, and we call it embedded finance. So what is your view, Falk, on the whole topic of business networks and ecosystems, especially from an SAP point of view?
I bring my good buddy Tony in there, yeah, to kick it off, and then I will complement it with a short news, which I want to make sure you're all aware of. So, Tony, you first.
Yeah, I think when we speak about business networks, it's actually a pretty interesting thing for SAP, right? Because when we speak about business networks, we speak obviously about breaking up company and industry silos. And from an SAP perspective, I mean, we operate since 20 years when we started industry solutions in 25 industries, I think, which is unmatched to any of the software providers in the market. So what does it help financial services companies? I mean, it helps financial services companies really to drive and create new types of business models. And I think we are already working pretty strongly on a couple of business networks. And if I look into just a recent study of McKinsey, where they are stating until 2030, we will see new ecosystems that are generating 65 trillion in terms of additional revenues in the market. And those ecosystems are, for example, in the areas of mobility, right? In the areas of mobility, health, wealth, and so on. So what business networks are allowing us is actually, they allow us to digitize value chains across really company borders, and doing so fully support the idea of embedded financial services. Let me be a bit more concrete really on that. Because, I mean, at SAP, we have a couple of networks already up and running, right? So we have our intelligent spend network where we have 5 million buyers and suppliers on the platform. We have there 4 trillion of transactions operated through these platforms. We have 72 million people on our travel and expense platform that work for 45,000 companies. We have 5 million IoT-equipped assets actually in our asset intelligence network, and 218 million users of our human experience management solutions. So just imagine now what the opportunity out there is to embed financial services products into that. The current conversations that we're having with customers are actually really around, can we embed credit risk insurance in and use actually the data that SAP you have within your business networks, right? Within actually the largest buyers and suppliers network that is there outside with the Ariba platforms. So I definitely believe that there's huge opportunity for that, especially looking into the B2B business segments, and Falk's going to speak a bit about that, I think, as well too. So if you want to listen into what the future of ecosystems, for example, around mobility is about, I strongly encourage you as well to today on the insurance track to listen to Carsten Kreder. He's a close friend of SAP and SAP Fioneer, and I think there you can see how these business models are changing, how as well you see insurance teaming up with automotive companies, and developing really new offerings that are tailored to the end customer in the end. So, Falk, you want to add something important here maybe too?
Yeah, when we talk about business networks, we obviously talk first of all about all these corporate customers in these networks. And we have announced an acquisition earlier this year named Taulia. It's a supply chain financing platform. And I want to make sure that we are all on the same page here. By no means we have any ambition to compete with Fioneer or with any other bank here. Our objective with that acquisition is to extend the business network idea, to give our corporate customers the possibility to have more financial flexibility and financial stability. So that solution is in the area of working capital management, and to provide the service, we need to build up a FSI ecosystem. And this is exactly where the partners come in. So we already have started discussions with various financial service providers and partners. So if you're interested around that topic, I'm more than happy to connect you with the right people within SAP. And jointly, this is a good example how we can drive innovation that benefits our corporate customers on the one side, and obviously the financial service ecosystem on the other side.
Yeah, thank you, Tony and Falk. Very valuable insights. The last topic I would like to cover is the topic of sustainability, and obviously that's also a big topic for SAP, if not one of the or the leading topic of SAP. So I introduced earlier the SAP Fioneer Sustainable Finance Data Hub, so the data management component, and also the integration into the credit and lending processes. Could you please elaborate, Falk and Tony, a little bit from the SAP perspective, how that relates, especially with the SAP components of the control tower and PAPM?
Tony, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I think that's a great example on how SAP and SAP Fioneer solutions complement each other. I mean, Dirk, you already mentioned that there's really regulation and standards coming that as well help to structure sustainability better, right? We have the International Sustainability Standards Board as well already launched, right? We see that there's getting more structure around the topics as well from a regulator perspective. So let me basically holistically draw the picture. I mean, within SAP, we have SAP Cloud for Sustainable Enterprises. We have a couple of products that basically are embedded into this and that really help to measure, manage, optimize your sustainability performance as a customer by integrating data processes and by as well managing people, business partners, environmental impact, as well as in the end sustainable profits. It is a big data game in the end. I mean, there's a mountain of data available in SAP systems. You have investment accounting data on funds where the financial services institutions are invested in. Looking at that from a green financial services perspective is something that obviously you can do. Another example on the SAP side would be as well, if you look into real estate management, we see a lot of the buildings that basically maybe are crowded for 2-3 days a week, but how to operate those buildings and those offices in a sustainable way is going to be very, very much crucial. And obviously, looking into your vendors and suppliers from a banks and insurance perspective on whether they are sustainable too. So I definitely believe that, and here comes it into play between SAP and SAP Fioneer. I think that Fioneer brings the relevant operational banking and insurance data into the KPIs, the what-if scenarios, really that come out of the core processes, as Dirk you mentioned in the lending space, and your solutions obviously integrate with the sustainability control tower, integrate with performance and profitability management, and I think in the end jointly we deliver solutions and enable our customers really to run green financial services. And those, again, are complemented by partner solutions of software partners, but as well of our system integration partners, right? I definitely believe that this brings together the best of all worlds, covering the operational processes, industry-specific, covering processes that are holistically and covering actually the entire portfolio of SAP solutions where we are going to embed these things. So I think that with these three key initiatives of SAP, where we focus on business networks, where we focus on business transformation with RISE with SAP, and where we focus on third on really sustainability, I think this is where the corporate strategy of our company is heading towards, and where we as well align our financial services activities together with SAP and SAP Fioneer. Back to you.
There is nothing to add, really, Tony. So I would just repeat a lot of things. So I spare my answer. So after all the questions we got from you, Dirk, let's take a look at the future of financial service and the perspectives you have on it. So what is your take on the next 2 to 5 years? What will it bring? What will the future perspectives of financial service look like from your specific Fioneer view?
Well, we announced our new platform strategy today, and I shared a couple of examples, especially on the new topics, whether it's the lending business, ESG, the finance platform. So we are building the next generation of financial services products and solutions, and an ecosystem which is inclusive, efficient, and future fit. And I think that's what I would like to invite all of you to, all of the customers, all of the prospects, but especially also all of the partners, And I think if we do it right, we have a great future ahead of us.
Thank you. And Tony, last word from your side. Same question. Future perspective?
I think there are three things.
Keep it short.
I will do.
Three things.
Three things. The first thing is really that financial services is going to be all about sustainable growth in these very volatile and difficult times, and how to achieve really this growth, leveraging innovative business models and within ecosystems, right? The second aspect is really is going to be about technology-driven innovation. I think that every financial services institution today is stating we are a tech company as well. And how to deliver this and how to use intelligent technologies like machine learning, blockchain and others is really going to be key. So that's the second topic. And I think the third is about winning in the market. I think what Dirk stated in the beginning, it's an opportunity, which we are facing today, right? Doing nothing is not an option of any of the financial services providers. I remember that be it the crisis in 2008 or other crises that we had in the market, financial services came out of that really always stronger than before. So I definitely believe that with the ambition of SAP and SAP Fioneer to really support our customers on one hand to grow the business, to innovate with technology, and actually to win in the market, that's absolutely key. And I definitely believe that the move that we did with combining SAP and SAP Fioneer in the market is unmatched. And over to you, Falk.
So Dirk, let's shape the future together.
Yeah.
Together with our customers, together with our partners. And with that, we are at the end of the keynote. Enjoy the sessions on the next 2 days. Find time for networking. And most importantly, have some fun as well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And bye-bye.